What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And today we're going to be talking about a game called Evil West. This game resembles of two games in mind, and in particular, which is known as Dark Watch Curse of the West, which was a 2005 FPS game built for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox console. And you formally play as Jericho Cross in that game. However, there's another mix in this game known as God of War when it comes to its gunplay mechanics and its melee mechanics as well. So for those of you who do not know about this, now you know. But now we are going to be talking about this game in general and what I really think about this game as a whole and where I think this game really utilizes its unique type of concepts when it comes to its gameplay style, when it comes to its combat with weapons and with melee. And I think that's where this game really does something fairly unique in a game that we never really thought we would get. I think that we have had most games out there that are very much similar to that of what Evil West is, like God of War or like Dark Watch. And Dark Watch was a fairly unique FPS game, as I previously mentioned. And that's where this game really borrows a lot from when it comes to its Wild West setting. Because, Dark Watch was set in that type of theme style as well. And that's what's fairly unique. And a lot of people really thought that, is this like Dark Watch 2 maybe? I don't know. But I think it's more of a twist, like I previously mentioned. It's more of a unique twist with God of War mechanics and some Dark Watch mechanics when it comes to its first-person shooter vibe. But this game utilizes the third-person action-adventure camera like the previous new God of Wars that we've had of God of War Ragnarok or God of War 2018. But however, I think when it comes to Evil West, it's not just because of its thematic themes of this game, which is the Wild West, in a very twisting, dark, gothic type of way, because you basically are going up against different types of enemies, which are vampires or any kind of creatures of the night. And that's where I'm really intrigued by this game. When I first started this game recently, I was thoroughly taken aback from it for a little bit because I'm like, it's like, do I really want to get interested in this game? Because I felt like the game, indeed, it was starting out slow. But however, once I got really delved deep more into the systems of its gameplay and its shooting mechanics, it finally dawned on me, as I previously mentioned, it played more of a God of War with some Dark Watch 2005 gameplay aesthetics. And that's where this game really does a magnificent job of that type of equality. And what I mean by equality is that it really does a good job of intermittent itself into that complex gameplay systems, like God of War and like Dark Watch, and how it utilizes that and puts it all into one. And that's where I'm saying this game, if God of War and Dark Watch had a baby, it would be Evil West, in my personal opinion, because that's where this game really shows its quality of those two games when it comes to the third person action platform format. And that's where I think that this game really does a really good job. However, I am thoroughly impressed with its graphic fit and video fidelity. My apologies on that. But however, I really think the story, it's interesting. I'm kind of curious of where the story is going to go, because I had to stop playing this for a brief moment because I really wanted to get this video out on this game, because it's like I really wanted to think about how I was able to talk about this game, because of how different of a game or similar to a game this is similar to that of, like God of War or any other games like Assassin's Creed, But, this game does not have any Assassin's Creed elements, but the only one element of Assassin's Creed is the third person aspect. It's the same thing as God of War, right? So that's where I'm going with this. I'm sorry about that. But that's where this game really falls under line of what this game really wants to do. And what I will say about the gameplay, I want to talk more about the gameplay here because that's where this game. I feel like the gameplay in this game is, it's it's pretty balanced. But there have been times to where it's like, I'm not. I was really, like I said, I was taken aback from the gameplay aesthetic of this game a little bit because it's like, I'm so used to like playing the God of Wars, and I'm so used to like playing the Assassin's Creed or the Uncharted's, and not playing the Uncharted games for a long time now. It really dawned. I was really trying to get a hold of the controls in this game because I am not familiar with I am familiar with these games, but it was the fact that how I was going to make myself or convince myself enough how to get the controls down. And I think playing this game for maybe possibly more than an hour or two, I finally got the controls down pat. It literally took me a little while because this game does utilize a control ways of trying to get used to the controls, as I previously mentioned. So my apologies on that repetition there. But however, that's where I felt like that this game it felt off at first because I'm like, it wasn't really irking me, I would say. I think it would be more in the lines of, do I really like this game? Because I do like these types of games, but like I said, before, this game was starting off a little slow. And I'm so used to like games that do start off slow, but this game was really starting to pick up after about an hour or two at least, if that. But at the beginning of this game, I'm just like, this is kind of going a little bit slower than I anticipated because I'm not used to like games that had that type of original flow. I felt like when it came to God of War 2018, or not even Ragnarok, but 2018, it started off a little bit slow, and I'm like, I'm liking this, but I'm not liking this because it was the fact that how Evil West starts out at that as well when it came to that type of runtime, or that rendition of how it's going to really, or when I know when it's possibly going to pick up. So that's where I was going with that. So again, my apologies on that. But then once I finally realized, once I finally understood where the gameplay mechanics is concerned and how I was able to really quite understand where the gameplay mechanics of this game it's pretty solid. But I did feel like that there is a little bit of jank in here in this game, just a little bit. But however, I still think that this game really, for me, has the potential of being an underrated gem of a game, much like what Dark Watch was back in 2005, I believe, or 2002, or it was one of the two. So my apologies on that as well. But however, this game it's so cool. And, I'm a huge Western buff. I have played the first two Red Dead Redemptions, and I love those games. And, that's where this game really falls under line with the thematic of a Western type of theme to it. But with that Western type of theme to it, there's also some supernatural type of gameplay vibes to that of what Dark Watch did as well, because I previously mentioned Dark Watch was in a thematic theme of the Old West or the Wild West. And that's where I'm saying it's like that's where this game really does an excellent job of bringing some of that thematic themes from Dark Watch, and along with the God of War gameplay mechanics, much like in Kratos, I would say in the newer God of Wars rather than like the OG God of Wars, but that's just my own personal opinion, of course. But however, I think that's where this game, it does a really good job so far. I'm really deeply impressed, and like I said, I'm kind of curious of where this game is going to go for me, especially like I previously mentioned, and what I really want to think about as I progress even further. And so that's where I think that this game is going to be interesting. It's very interesting. I like the way how the creatures look in this game. They're pretty cool and kind of vile and gruesome. But I do like that type of concept feeling to these types of creatures, or even playing as, I forgot what his name is, but his last name is Rentier. And I really like the way how he utilizes his gunplay mechanics in this game as well, because what I have noticed when it comes to this game too is that there are like some counter kills, as it were, and you basically there are highlights on enemies to where you have to shoot them, and you'll be able to take more health down than usual on the specific enemies in this game. And that's really cool though too. I really like that type of gameplay aesthetic to it, and that's where I think that this game really does an excellent job of focusing on type of role playing to it as well, and that's another thing that this game really utilizes too. So overall, I really think, I have played other games from Focus Entertainment. There was a game called Call of Cthulhu, that's one of them, which was an excellent game as well. And Vampire, that was also another game made by Focus Entertainment as well. And so I think that's where this game really does. There's one thing I really admit about this game though too. I love its cinematic quality, especially when it comes to the cutscenes. I think that's where it's not just along with the Rentier protagonist that you play as, but it's the way how this game really tells a unique story within the cinematics, within some of the character as you play as well. And I think that's where this game really does a good job on its storytelling too. I think that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a game like this, amongst like from the God of War or from Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. But another thing what I would really greatly like to add here too is that here's one thing I would definitely have to admit, one thing here is that I instantly got a lot of Dark Watch vibes, other than some God of War gameplay aesthetics to it as well. But there's so much Dark Watch thematics in this game, and I'm like, dude, I literally had to convince myself and saying, is this like Dark Watch? Because I remember, like I said, I remember playing that game back in the day, and I loved it. I'd never finished it, but I loved it. And it was still a fantastic, underrated gem of a game, and I still remember that game to this day because of how Evil West really portrays that Dark Watch feel to it, because of its gunplay, or its melee in third-person perspective, but the thematic or themes of Dark Watch in this game really shows this in this game very deeply. As I previously mentioned with the God of War thing or the gameplay aesthetics, it's the melee more so. And it's the way how God of War really utilizes how you can, especially in the new God of Wars, how you can utilize your throwing axe or your Blades of Chaos in God of War 2018 or in Ragnarok. And you're not able to do that in Evil West. But that's where this game really falls under of those two type of games in general. And like I said, mastered the one. And it's like basically Evil West is like a baby from mixing Dark Watch with God of War and meshing it into one game known as Evil West. And so I think that's a really fair analogy for the most part, for me especially. I mean, a lot of people are probably saying, well, I don't know. Does this feel more like a God of War game, more of a Dark Watch game? I really don't know that for sure, but I'm just putting my own type of theory out there. But however, that's where this game really does an amazing job in that type of combat and gameplay category, in my personal opinion. What I want to also put in here too, I really think that this game does a really good job with its themes of not just because of the Wild West, but it's the visual fidelity of this game. It's gorgeous to its own unique way. And there are levels in this game that are dark and foreboding and evil like and all that kind of stuff. It's so cool and moody. And it's so cool that they were able to implement a certain type of aspect of showing what Dark Watch was back in the day, because that game, as I previously mentioned, it was in a first-person perspective. This game is in a third-person perspective, but however, I think that's where this game really just falls under line of why I think that this game it's a unique, underrated type of game made by Focus Entertainment. And I think they did a really good job on this game. I'm really looking forward to seeing how far I can go with this game in general and what I will truly think about this game as a whole. And I'll probably maybe think about, maybe make another video on this game, probably with the same gameplay, so that way I can just give out my last initial impressions or what I truly think about this game in general. But I don't think I don't think I really need to do that, because I think I've said my part in this video. And so I'm just feeling that I'm hoping as to where or what I will do in terms of getting the gunplay aesthetic to it more, getting more involved with that, because that's where I'm saying I think that this game really does a good job with that utilization and system combat scenarios in this game. And that's where I just think that this game is excellent in that front, because I do like these types of games, and I'm hoping to just try to get myself more invested into it, which I will. So, but anyways, too much further ado. This is Jake from Citizen JV. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Any comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. And I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. But you guys have a good rest of your upcoming weekend, and I'll chat to you guys later. Peace.